with Kat Osborne, head writer, in one of the Strangers, we're very funny program, which is Adventure Time. So you're here in one of the festivals that are very interesting in Mexico. It's one of a kind right now that puts together the public, the students who are really longing to be in the industry with professionals like you, like gaming and sound designers. How are you seeing this audience? Are you so eager to know?
Yeah, it's great. Had no idea it was going to be this big and this many people. Astrid Cortez, who works for the festival, contacted me and said, "Oh, there'll be students." I thought it was going to be a classroom.
Yeah.
When I was a student, we had people come to our class and talk to us. So yeah, I was a little overwhelmed when we walked in, seeing the line and seeing everybody, and I'm a little nervous to give a talk later on. But it's great. It's great to meet people that are just starting out and want to learn and listen to someone like me talk about things.
Talking about that you are here and that you are one of the head writers of Adventure Time, which is a huge program with, like, everyone knows it.
Oh, really?
Like, really, everyone knows it. Here in Mexico, it has a really great audience.
Oh, cool.
So how did you get into the program? How was your road to get into that?
Well, I've been writing for animation for about 15 years, and I just sort of lucked into it. My first job was on SpongeBob, and they kind of took a chance and hired me. I didn't have any experience writing animation or writing cartoons, and they hired me to write outlines to give to the storyboarders so that they could then storyboard and write the episodes. And then I just kind of went from job. SpongeBob was very successful,
Yes.
and I worked on a couple other shows like Phineas and Ferb and Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack and The Amazing World of Gumball. And then I met Penn Ward, who created Adventure Time. I met him on Flapjack. We were both doing storyboards. And I loved Adventure Time. I'd seen the pilot like everybody else on YouTube. And then he was developing it at Cartoon Network. And I really wanted to work on it, and he asked me to do storyboards on it. So
How was, for you as a writer, the difference between writing in another type of platforms, which could be television, film, or anything else, but animation? How is that different?
I'd say it's different in, I'd written scripts before, like for movies and, in that you're writing everything down, but for all the shows I've worked on have been storyboard driven. So there's no scripts. You write an outline, and so that's something it's very specific for a board-driven show. You're trying to not write too much dialogue. You're trying to focus more on the structure of the story and the beats and the specific, plot points and that happen. And this is all boring to talk about writing this way, but that's like the main difference is you're writing and that you trust that when you hand it off to a storyboard team that they're going to be able to take it and go with it and really pour themselves into it and make it the cartoon that ends up being on the really funny cartoon.
Great. There's one thing. When professionals come here and give these great talks in front of an audience that is young and it doesn't have the knowledge of the industry, of the inside of the industry, we all see the successful stories. We all see that you are already a writer, that you're in Cartoon Network. But for them, I think it's more important if you tell them a little bit of the
the struggle.
Yes. Of the struggle of getting there. How was your struggle?
It was I waited tables. I was a bartender. I drove a limousine. I worked as a janitor. So a lot of survival jobs. And then, the good thing about being young is you get home from work and you can sit down and work on your art. Which I have a hard time doing now. Like, I'll work all day and I come home and I don't want to do any. I want to drink and watch Netflix or TV. It didn't happen overnight. It definitely. I think you have to. You got to work on your craft or whatever it is you want to do. If you want to be a writer, you want to be a designer, you want to be an animator. Work on it as much as you can, and hopefully you'll. Be in the right place at the right time, and someone will say, "Hey, show me your work." Hey, we're looking for a writer. And if they like your stuff, you'll be set. You'll get a job, and but it's hard to break in. You're not gonna I mean, although a lot of people I work with came right out of school, like a lot of the animators and people like they get out of school and they've made a student film and everyone likes it and they get job offers right away. You know.
For the students, what would be an advice on how to deal with the industry? Like when you approach a producer, when you approach a studio, what will be their attitude? How do you think that they should talk themselves? How they should sell themselves?
Yeah, there's a fine line because you don't want to be you don't want to be shy. You know, you got to go up and say hi to someone and introduce yourself and shake their hand, but you also don't want to be too pushy. You know, if you're getting some social cues that this person wants to be left alone, you should probably leave them alone. I think the best thing to do, you know, it's important to make those connections and meet people, but also if you make something and put it online, that's going to speak for itself, and hopefully you can then promote yourself, and you know someone will see it and say, "Oh, I really like that," and we could use someone. You know that it's hard to find someone that fits with your show. If you've created a show and you're looking, you know, you've been on for one season, you're looking, you know, people are starting to leave and you're looking to replace people, it's really hard to find someone who has the same sensibilities. So, but if you're doing a comic book or you're making animation or you're making cartoons and that person who's looking for someone happens to see it, they're going to go, "Oh wow, that makes me laugh," or that's the thing I'm looking for. And then they'll come to you and they'll, you know, hopefully, I think it happens all the time. It happens on our show. Half our crew were, you know, because we saw people on the internet that we liked and stuff like that. So, so now more than ever, it's really really exciting that you can put stuff online and have people like respond to it, you know.
Okay, to finish the interview.
Yeah.
Is there in your speech that you're going to give any news about Adventure Time? Any other projects that you're going to be working that we're going to see you're writing?
Oh, no, they don't let us talk about things. You know, they don't let us announce things.
Yes.
They like to handle that, and which I guess is a good thing. But no, I'm just going to I'm going to talk about how to write for storyboard-driven animation, and hopefully it won't be too boring, and hopefully people will ask questions. Because I'm pretty nervous. I just saw Jorge, and oh my gosh, he's so good.
Yeah,
and,
so funny.
He's so funny, and he's so happy, and he brought so much to show. And it's going to be a tough act to follow, but he's great. I've known him for a while, and he's awesome.
Okay, thank you very much for
you're
this
welcome.
interview.
Yeah.